Good morning to each and everyone. I am Lgbtq and together with my group mates, we will be discussing the laws and policies on violence and discrimination of the members of LGBTQ community. In the first slide, I will be discussing to you what is discrimination and the effects of it in the LGBTQ community. And in the second slide are the laws and policies to be discussed by Ms. Quizon and Mr. Dagangan. Discrimination. So many members of LGBTQ community face discrimination and violence because of their sexual orientation and gender identity. So basically, it is a patchwork of non-discrimination laws, hate crime laws, and other policies leave LGBTQ people without adequate protection from these experiences. So in other words, discrimination is the unequal treatment of persons on the basis of unidentified characteristics. It can refer to any sorts of act or behavior that distinguishes or singles out individuals on account of factors such as age, sex, race, and national origin, also sexual orientation and gender identity. So, how does discrimination affects LGBTQ individuals? So, experiencing discrimination is not something that you can or should be easily brushed off. So despite the reality that many people often feel that they must brush off discrimination in order to maintain peace, yet supporting or promoting discriminatory acts has real consequences on the lives of those affected. So the following are the impacts of discrimination in the LGBTQ community. So first is the physical health. So young LGBTQ individuals find it difficult to report their sexual identity to their clinicians. So some clinicians are not well trained in addressing the concerns of members of this community. Second is the mental and psychological health. So depression and suicidal risk among discriminated LGBTQ youth that they are prone to depression and anxiety. Third is education. LGBTQ youths are frequently bullied at schools. They frequently get into fights, engage in truancy, and struggle with emotional distress and conduct problems. So, for employment and treatment in public and social settings, and also for the economic security, so even more muddled are LGBTQ rights in situation of harassments in the workplace, such as offensive comments and other acts meant to make LGBTQ employees feel uncomfortable and unsafe. So many members of LGBTQ community reports delaying or avoiding seeking care because they are concerned about how they may be treated by a provider. The laws and policies. So first is the Philippine City Passes Law against LGBT discrimination ordinance should be broad passage of national anti-discrimination legislation. So the Philippine City of Mandaluyong has approved an ordinance to protect the rights of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people from discrimination. So the latest in a slew or local laws passed across the country. So Mandaluyong's anti-discrimination ordinance prohibits such discriminatory acts as denying or limiting employment-related access, denying access to public programs or services, refusing admission, expelling or dismissing a person from educational institution due to their sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression. It also prohibits verbal or written abuse, unjust detention, or involuntarily confinement, denying access to facilities, and illegalizing formation of groups that incite sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression-related discrimination.
The International Organization Human Rights Watch. According to the Movement Advancement Project or MAP, 44% of the nation's LGBTQ population live in states that do not prohibit discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity. Incidents of LGBTQ discrimination in the workplace can be brought to the attention of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commissions or EEOC in order to seek legal recourse. The has also urged the implementation of greater protections for LGBTQ individuals against discrimination in healthcare settings. The struggle of LGBT people for the equal rights has moved to center stage. LGBT people are battling for their civil rights in Congress, in courtrooms, and in the streets. Well-known figures are discussing their sexual orientation in public. Gay and lesbian people are featured in movies and on television, not as novelty characters but as full participants in society. Despite these advances into the American mainstream, however, LGBT people continue to face real discrimination in all areas of life. No federal law prevents a person from being fired or refuse a job on the basis of sexual orientation. The nation's largest employer, the U.S. military, openly discriminates against gays and lesbians. Mothers and fathers lose child custody simply because they are gay or lesbian, and gay people are denied the right to marry. One state even tried to fence lesbians and gay men out of the process used to pass laws. In 1992, Colorado enacted Amendment 2, which repealed existing state laws and barred future laws protecting lesbians, gay men, and bisexuals from discrimination. The U.S. Supreme Court struck it down in the landmark in 1996 Romer v. Evans decision.
Continuation of discussion. According to Attorney William M. Julian P.A., these are the common examples of LGBTQ discriminations in workplaces noted in a report from Williams Institute. First, the offensive terms and stereotyping. An example of this is describing something as feminine is used as an insult, often to mean weak or ineffective. Second is termination on or denial or opportunities. In this case, there are lots of opportunities that LGBTQ can avail, but because of denial opportunities, there are some employers might terminate or take improper actions against LGBTQ workers. Example of this is an employer passed over transgender woman for a laboratory technician job and also fired her from her contractual job when she used her preferred gender and name of an application. And lastly, sexual assault. Sexual assault is the worst case. LGBTQ people are the victim of sexual assault. Gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender suffer abuse and receive threats at work. And on behalf of Law Office of William M. Julian P.A., despite increasing acceptance and protections, many LGBTQ individuals still experience discrimination and harassment in the workplace, which is rampant every now and then, that if you are a member of LGBTQ, you'll get easily discriminated by some people rather than accept of who you are.
And that ends our discussion. Thank you for listening.